My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read all my writing, go to counterpropa.com. Support the site through the Amazon links. And my latest article in CounterPropa is also in the Huffington Post. And it is We're in the McCarthy Era. And I'm sure you'll agree that we are already in the McCarthy era with President Trump saying that President Obama wiretapped him, and defenders of President Obama saying, no, he could never have done that. It was the FISA court that potentially could have. Who do you think pushed for the investigation? Democrats. Democrats pushed for an investigation before the election of President Trump. The FBI already said there was no clear link. James Clapper today, the link is below with his actual quote. I will read you the actual quote. Clapper was also asked on Meet the Press if he had any evidence that the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russian government while the Kremlin was working to influence the election. Quote, not to my knowledge. You'd think he had some knowledge. Clapper said, based on the information he had before his time in the position ended a couple of months ago, quote, and this destroys the whole Russia narrative myth, and I'll get to how Wikileaks just destroyed any defense of President Obama wiretapping or wanting a FISA court to wiretap Trump. This is James Clapper, quote, we did not include anything in our report that had any reflect of collusion between members of the Trump campaign and the Russians. There was no evidence of that included in our report. We had no evidence of such collusion. The CIA is only highly confident. The NSA is moderately confident. They're not even highly confident. Not even highly confident. They're moderately confident. If you told somebody, I love you, and they said, I'm moderately confident I love you too, would you be happy? Of course not. Would you impose sanctions on a nation because you were moderately confident they did something? We do. Anyway, Obama has a history of tapping and hacking his friends and rivals. This is WikiLeaks. Destroying the entire narrative. NSA targets world leaders for U.S. geopolitical interests. Oh, how dare anyone accuse President Obama of wiretapping Trump? We do it all the time with everybody. WikiLeaks publishes highly classified documents showing that the U.S. National Security Agency bugged a private climate change strategy meeting. I thought Democrats under President Obama were supposed to be for sustainable energy, renewable energy, understood the dangers of climate change, and now we've bugged people at a meeting, climate change meeting between UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and German Chancellor Angela Merkel in Berlin singled out the Chief of Staff of the UN High Commission for Refugees for long interception targeting his Swiss phone. Singled out the director of the rules divisions of the World Trade Organization and targeted his Swiss phone for long-term interception. Stole sensitive Italian diplomatic cables. We're stealing and spying everywhere, detailing how Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu implored Italy's Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi to help patch up his relationship with U.S. President Barack Obama. Intercepted top EU and Japanese trade ministers discussing their secret strategy and red lines to stop U.S., quote, extorting them at the WTO Doha rounds. Wow. Okay, so including French, Australian, Belgian phone numbers, the phones of Italy's ambassador to NATO, our allies, not just our enemies, we're spying on. In the 8 years of President Obama, we spied on everybody, and we've wiretapped everybody. Whether President Obama said, do this, I command and order you to wiretap Trump. If CIA is moderately confident, the NSA is moderately confident information or intelligence was given to a FISA court, a secret court, by the way, then they'll say, okay, yeah, go ahead, run the investigation. The FBI already ran an investigation. Almost certainly wiretapped Trump. They had General Flynn's conversation with the Russian ambassador, found nothing. So the New York Times is at least a newspaper of record when it's not a public relations firm. Before the propaganda blitz, General Flynn was already cleared by the FBI, and Trump was already cleared in terms of not finding any collusion. Which brings me to what the collusion with the Russians to let everybody know that DNC cheated Bernie. As if that alone would dissuade people from voting for Clinton, who has a litany, a never-ending list of things from voting for the Iraq War, calling black youth super predators, pushing for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, being against gay marriage up until 2013. If you're a Democrat or progressive, you're watching this, do you know anyone who was against gay marriage up until 2013? I don't. Give me your thoughts below. Wikileaks just destroyed any semblance of a defense that President Obama could never have wanted or even pushed for the CIA to give a FISA court enough information to wiretap, for the FBI to wiretap Trump. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much for listening.